hooked on drugs, and it only escalated from there. When Keith was only 3, he was locked up. This particular issue with my sister happened a couple years ago. My ex got sick and she was scared of Keith ending up in foster care like her, and I didn't want that for him either. I legally adopted him before she passed when he was 6. Not everyone in my family was on board with it at first, but he's the kind of kid that's hard not to love, so they warmed up to him. However, my sister never did. She hated that I brought the son of her ex-fiancé into the family. I understood why it was so painful, but Keith's and Jesse's best interest was my main priority. That's how we drifted apart. Last weekend was my birthday and we had a small barbecue.
I grabbed that blonde-headed, big-nosed B-word by the hair and dragged her all the way to my back door, which was literally right beside my bedroom. After I did that, I told her if she didn't get the hell off my property, I was calling the cops. She ended up leaving, and all she had on was a bra and some shorts. Right after that, I went back to my bedroom and told my boyfriend to get out of my house. The next day, I went and told her mama what she did, and my no common sense. Her mom beat her ass, and I recorded it and kind of posted it on Instagram. By the way, half the school didn't like her anymore after I called her out. And then there was my boyfriend. Well, ex. I ended up inboxing the entire school and telling them what happened. And payback hit them hard. Now, I wouldn't say I'm popular, but everyone likes me and I have a new boyfriend. My ex got kicked off the football team because someone went running to the teachers and told them everything. But yeah, so don't...
Jason hit it off immediately. We always talk and hung out. At first, my friend would be like, is Jason free, or do you know what Jason is doing? And I thought it was because she wanted to spend time with him. But oh, was I wrong. After he asked me out a few weeks ago, I said yes, and she messaged me a few days ago asking if me and Jason were dating. I told her yes and asked her how she found out. She said she found out
in front of me, and sometimes it made me feel like I wasn't even there. However, at the end of the day, I had no real reason to be mad. A couple months in, I found out that they used to cuddle together in bed and fall asleep together, as well as the one time that they slept together. That made me feel weird because in my opinion, it's more intimate than just hooking up. He told me that they were both in a bad place and it was just for comfort, but I was still put off on punishments, but Levi would go to his dad's place whenever he causes trouble, then have his dad yell at me for wanting to discuss a suitable punishment. Then Levi comes home days later expecting me to let go of what he did every time, and it's frustrating. I got a call at work from Susan saying Levi took her entire book collection and threw them in the pool after she refused to lend him and his friends her camera for his trip. My wife helped get them out, but they were wet and some were torn. It was horrific because some of those books are hard to get and meant a lot to Susan as part of her life. I was so mad at Levi I came home to have a conversation with my wife to decide on a punishment, but he had already packed a small bag and went to his dad's. I asked my wife how she could let him basically run after doing this, and she said that he called his dad and he came to pick him up after Susan said that I was coming home to deal with the problem. When I went to his dad's house, he refused to let me see him. I told him how not to worry about it. Again, I took it as she came around. Only she wasn't told that he would also be present. But how could he not be? He lives there. My sister got there and she was mad when she saw him. She very specifically said, I thought this was family only. What's he doing here? Loud enough where he could have easily heard, but thankfully he was playing with his brother. My sister was pissed because my parents told her that Keith would not be around. I got pissed when she told me she didn't want him here, expecting me to do something about it. So I ended up telling her to leave and that she's not welcome here then. There was some back and forth from her and my parents. I didn't want that kind of talk around my son, so I still made her leave. My mom said
that meant my boyfriend was allowed to come over. And before he came, I told him that I had a dentist appointment. Plus, my nana was sick and I didn't want her to be alone, so I wanted him to stay at my house anyways. Well, when I came back home from my dentist appointment, I went straight to my nana's room to check on her and she was asleep.
Supposed to believe him now. He said he didn't even need to tell me, and I should have known something was wrong. It's been days and he's still upset and asked his sister-in-law to stay to help him out. I felt horrible and not like a supportive wife at all. Okay. Someone told me I should add this piece of information to the context, and here it is. My husband has suffered from mental health issues in the past year or so. Hence, he can't work till September. He's doing a lot better now compared to
This. I know about what happened with you guys back in the day, but Rod seems like a great guy now. It would just really mean a lot if you could just push that memory away for the duration of this. Please, just trust me. I don't know how to respond to this, and luckily the wedding planning process has been at a halt since COVID. I haven't responded to her since that text, but now Josh that the reason I wasn't coming to the wedding was that I didn't want to work with Rod. Because I had a crush on him, and that she was forcing the relationship too much. So basically, she said that we had a petty girl fight. My jaw hit the floor and I was fuming. She had obviously never told Josh what Rod did to me. I shared that Rod had raped me back in high school and that Tina knew about it. I asked if he knew too. He said he didn't, but at one point Rod did mention a few crazy bitches falsely accused him of rape. I kept my feelings about their friendship to myself because I wanted to like her and not make things difficult for my boyfriend, but she wanted to be really good friends with me. Oddly, one night she invited me to have drinks with her. It was all fine until she told me a couple details about when they slept together and then told me about his ex without me even asking. I brushed it off at the time, but now it's crossed my mind a few times and I'm livid. I don't understand why anyone would do that. I finally told my boyfriend that I didn't like their friendship and asked him to be cautious of how he interacts with her when I'm there, but didn't tell him the details of what happened. I told him not to tell her because I didn't want her to hate me, but he went and told her anyway. I felt that further proved my point that he put her before me. Her response was that I have no reason to be uncomfortable and she doesn't understand at all why I would feel this way because their friendship is completely normal. I felt like she completely dismissed my feelings and I don't understand how she thinks I'm overreacting. Wouldn't anyone be uncomfortable in my shoes? So I unfollowed her on social media. I started thinking about it a lot again last night and my blood started to...
There's no common sense. Her mom beat her ass and I recorded it and kind of posted it on Instagram. By the way, half the school didn't like her anymore after I called her out. And then there was my boyfriend. Well, ex. I ended up inboxing the entire school and telling them what happened. And payback hit them hard. Now I wouldn't say I'm popular, but everyone likes me and I have a new boyfriend. My ex got kicked off the football team because someone went running to the teachers and told them everything. But yeah, so don't do this to people and you won't get the karma coming back to bite you.
I met my boyfriend 7 months ago and we made it official 4 months ago. When we first started seeing each other, he told me that he had slept with his girl best friend, who he's known for less than a year. I was fine with it because it was before we met, but it was a bit uncomfortable for me. Seeing her all the time and watching them interact together was annoying. They're quite playful, always making fun of each other jokingly, making inside jokes. I was hiding from consequences and his dad tried to justify why Levi was acting out by blaming me for how me and Susan treat him. He even said he'd get CPS involved if I ever try to punish him because I'm not his biological parent and I have no right. He also added that what Levi did was a reaction to